From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Naira Ahmed. British Columbia's wildfire service says another round of dry lightning is in the forecast for the southern third of the province, coinciding with the return of hot, dry weather that's raising the fire risk heading into the long weekend. Over 300 wildfires are burning across BC, with 8 now considered wildfires of note. Crews are preparing for the conditions after days of high temperatures and no rain. Meanwhile, firefighters from Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island will be heading to Alberta this weekend to help battle the wildfires that have ravaged the Jasper area. The chief of the Chilcotin First Nation says a landslide blocking the Chilcotin River is placing upcoming salmon runs in jeopardy.
That's very concerning for us. We are dependent on salmon runs for healthy living. That's the main source of food for our people.
British Columbia's Minister of Energy Management says current modeling shows water from a vast lake forming behind the landslide is more likely to go over the top than burst through in a sudden release. Bowen Moss says the impacts downstream could still be significant depending on the distribution of the overtopping flow, and people along the Chilcotin and the connecting Fraser River may need to leave the area. Moss says it would take 12 to 24 hours for water and debris from the dam to reach Hope, BC, which is about 500 kilometers away. Quebec's Life Saving Society is asking homeowners to secure their backyard pools immediately after a 4-year-old boy drowned in a residential pool southwest of Montreal. The executive director of the society says media reports show the boy's death marks the 5th drowning in a residential backyard pool in the province so far this year. Stateside U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris says she's honored to be the presumptive Democratic nominee.
The online voting process, which doesn't end until Monday, was interrupted when Kamala Harris crossed the threshold to have the majority of the delegates' votes.
I will officially accept your nomination next week once the virtual voting period is closed. But already I'm happy to know that we have enough delegates to secure the nomination.
And she told her supporters she's ready to win.
It's not going to be easy, but we're gonna get this done. And as your future president, I know we are up to this fight.
I'm Shelley Adler.
And Canada is a step closer to the final frontier. Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly says the country has completed negotiations with the U.S. on an agreement with major implications for domestic space launches. Once that deal is signed, it'll establish the legal and technical safeguards needed to use U.S. space launch technology, expertise, and data for launches in Canada. Joly says this will position our country as a global leader in commercial space launch. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the Canadian team is 9th in total medal standings at the Paris Olympics with 11 medals, 3 gold, 2 silver, and 6 bronze. Team Canada picked up 3 of those bronze medals today. 28-year-old Kylie Moss's bronze in women's 200-meter backstroke makes her the first Canadian swimmer to win an Olympic medal in 3 consecutive games. Meanwhile, Gabriela Dabrowski and Felix Auger-Aliassime's tennis mixed doubles bronze marks Canada's 2nd ever medal in the sport. And in her Olympic debut, Sophie-Anne Métaud came 3rd in women's trampoline gymnastics. Canada's Damien Warner has some catching up to do when the second half of the decathlon gets underway tomorrow. The reigning Olympic champion from London, Ontario sits in 4th place after today's 5 events. Canada's men's basketball team remains perfect at the Summer Games. Meanwhile, Canada's Mo Ahmed placed 4th in the men's 10,000 meters. And the Toronto Blue Jays are in New York for the series opener against the Yankees. From the Canadian Press, I'm Naira Ahmed.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.